It's the United States alone that can protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it and improve it and make it so that it's good for Europe and safe for Europe and good for us.
Let me throw in one more of Trump trying to explain why we would want Greenland and why sort of Denmark in some sense is irrelevant in the conversation.
In 2019, Denmark said that they would spend over $200 million to strengthen Greenland's defenses. But as you know, they spent less than 1% of that amount. 1%. There's no sign of Denmark there. And I say that with great respect for Denmark, whose people I love, whose leaders are very good. It's the United States alone that can protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it and improve it and make it so that it's good for Europe and safe for Europe and good for us. And that's the reason I'm seeking immediate negotiations to once again discuss the acquisition of Greenland by the United States, just as we have acquired many other territories throughout our history, as many of the European nations have. They've acquired, there's nothing wrong with it. Many of them, some went in reverse, actually, if you look. Some had great, vast wealth, great, vast lands. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on? Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China. So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess. Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory that's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle.
Sam Altman just announced that ChatGPT can now reference all your past conversations, every thought, question, idea you've ever shared. And with a former NSA director now on their board, Edward Snowden called it a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. We've seen this before. Alexa listens. Meta tracks everything you do. Why assume AI will be any different? And now OpenAI might even start asking for government IDs to use ChatGPT. That's where Venice.AI comes in. It gives you the power of AI without giving up your privacy. It's open source, private, and runs right in your browser. No spying, no censorship, no data collection. Your chats stay encrypted and stored only on your device. Go to Venice.ai/Dave and use code Dave for 20% off a pro plan. That's Venice.ai/Dave, code Dave. Real AI, real privacy.
All right, even putting aside ungrateful, the point is that Denmark hasn't done much with Greenland, 1% of what they promised to put in. You know, why in essence, other than they've planted a flag there after the war, do they operate in Greenland? And they barely operate there at all. We'll just throw a map up for just a second, because maybe we should show a little more of this in general. But you can see, look, do you see what's kind of below Greenland? First off, Greenland's massive. It's absolutely massive. But do you see what's below it right there? That's Canada. So if you go across the ocean over there, Denmark's visible there. Denmark's a very, very small country. So Denmark is very, very small, basic Nordic country there. You got Norway and Sweden. Those countries don't do much outside of their borders. Somehow Denmark is in charge of Greenland. But look, Greenland is in our part of the world. And if Russia, which is a little off the map there, but you'd have to go past Sweden over there. If Russia and China started encroaching more and more, and as Trump said, there are ships and soldiers, et cetera, and they started encroaching a little bit more and more, who do you think that would be bad for first? It would be bad for Canada first. So when Carney sits there and he's like, yeah, Russia's a threat, but we've got patrol boats, it's like, it doesn't matter. You're not going to do anything. So you might want to be a little bit grateful.